Hey guys, this is Vien with Let's Get Physical. Today I got Darius Reese. He's strength and conditioning specialist over at Stanford. He works with the football team and the wrestling team. Last year he was with men's gymnastics. Gymnastics.
And lightweight rowing.
Lightweight rowing.
Yeah.
And he's got 2 rings first year there. So today it's usual. We're going to ask him 3 words. He's going to give us the first thing that comes to his mind. And we're going to talk about why those came to his mind. So the first one is going to be strength and conditioning.
Strength and conditioning. First thing that comes to mind for me is just getting optimal performance out of an athlete.
Okay, so we'll go with optimal performance.
Okay.
And then physical therapy.
Physical therapy. I think when I think of physical therapy, I think of helping an athlete with their deficiencies with the physical therapist.
That's a good way to put it. So we'll put deficiencies.
Okay.
Yeah. And then last one is going to be internships.
A grind.
Grind, yeah.
That's a grind.
And I agree. All right, so we're going to go back to the first point. Why, with optimal performance and strength conditioning, can you go more into that? A lot of our users know about like fitness and working out, and a lot of times they just see athletes work out, and when they hear strength conditioning, they're like, isn't that the same thing? But so when you say optimal performance and strength conditioning, how do you put that together and explain it to them?
Well, optimal performance and strength conditioning go hand in hand. With my athletes, and what I think about is I try to make sure I get the optimal performance out of that athlete, have that athlete be the best they can be throughout the whole training period. Something I don't like to say is working out with my athletes, because we don't just work out, we have goals to meet, so we actually train.
Yeah.
And with our training program, I try to make sure I have the right progressions for our athletes to be in a position to be successful. So not just throwing on too much for them on the front end, progressing them through that, and while progressing them slowly but surely, their body are able to synchronize and be able to build those connections with the muscles. Yeah. And that way, optimal performance can progress in their athletic career. So when I think of strength conditioning, that's why I think of optimal performance, because that's what I want to get out of them.
Yeah, and you had a great point about training versus working out. I always tell people, training, you actually have a goal. Working out, you're just general fitness. And I was able to come down and see what he does over at Stanford. Beautiful facility. And he showed me all the work he does. And we'll get into the grind of it later on. But, I mean, he's got spreadsheets on spreadsheets of every workout. He records numbers of his athletes because he wants to see them build. A lot of them are worried that, they're not meeting numbers, but he's able to coach them. That's what makes him a good coach, because it's not just, all right, here's your workout. It's, keeping them in it mentally, teaching about it, educating them what's right and how to progress efficiently. So, so I got this all about firsthand. It was really cool.
Hey.
Next one's physical therapy. So deficiency in athletes. How would you kind of go more on that?
So when I think about physical therapy, these athletes go to the physical therapist because they have some type of issue, right? Some type of deficiency. So that's why deficiency is the first thing that came to mind. Whether it's hurting them right now, it's something they need to take care of before it actually makes them not be able to perform.
All right.
So when athletes, they have some scapular issues, they have really, really tight T-spines, or just tightness in general, I have them go to not just me, but their athletic trainer has them go to a physical therapist to be able to work those kinks out, and they'll be able to still come to me with the performance as well. So we work together to try to make sure this athlete reduces all those deficiencies, but also gets better at the same time. Deficiencies will lead into bigger injuries on the back end. So that's why I think about deficiencies on the front end, try to check those boxes off to make sure we're symmetrical as a human being or as an athlete. Even if it's an athlete like a quarterback who throws with their right arm, they may have really, really good range of motion in the right arm, but the left arm may not have it, or vice versa. You know what I mean? So something's deficient there. So we try to make them equal as best as possible, even though they're throwing with the right arm. We're not just going to focus on that right arm. We're going to focus on both sides. So knock off those deficiencies. They'll be better, not just for that sport, but just in life health in general.
Yeah, and that's interesting you say that, because other guests on here, whenever I say physical therapy, they say rehab, hospital, injured, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you're going on deficiency and what you described is like the new model of prehab coming in.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting that the viewers get to see that this is what happens in the sports and what physical therapy is. Yep. And one interesting thing is with Stanford, all their PTs, ATs, physicians are all in-house. I got to go over to Stanford's PT department for the athletics at least. And it was interesting to see. I mean, you guys had MRI, X-ray physicians in the same office as the PTs. I mean, you guys had all the pharmacology stuff there. It was really cool to see. Huge facility. And so it's interesting that the main thing is with Darius, even though he's in strength conditioning, he knows a lot about physical therapy because, I mean, they talk every single week.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, he's told me about, we email, we get a report, so everyone's on the same page, which I think is really important as physical therapists to do with other healthcare practitioners, but also that it's really cool to see in the team setting that, there's no just one fine line between you go to PT or you go to strength conditioning, they got to do it at the same time.
Exactly.
And then last one is my favorite thing, especially in the strength conditioning field, which a lot of people should hear in any field, is the word internship. And you said grind.
Yeah,
so
it's definitely a grind. I've done two real meaning in my career and what I'm doing right now. Real internships, one at Portland State and one at Stanford, and both of those were grinds. I'm talking about waking up super early so that way we can be able to set up for the teams who are going to be coming in to train. When I was an intern, it wasn't just football. I had to open up the facilities for its other sports at that place. Like when I was up in Portland State, it was tennis coming in at 6:30 a.m. and football didn't come in until about 1. So I still had to be there an hour before the training session. So at 5:30, which means I had to wake up around 4:50. So I'm waking up at 4:50. Close down the facility later on around 8 when the last team has to come in to train because at Portland State there was only one weight room, so they had to work out that schedule, and I didn't leave till about 8:30. So waking up at 4:50, leaving at 8:30, and then I still have to go home and eat and shower and do all those things. And it's a continuous cycle.
How many times have you thought about sleeping in your car and just like, I'll just come in the next day?
Multiple times because when I did my internship at Stanford, I lived in San Jose, so it's about a 30-minute commute in the morning before I beat traffic. But if I get stuck in traffic, it's an hour plus. Yeah. So I thought about sleeping in my car many, many times. It's a grind because, like I said, you wake up early, go home late, but throughout the day, you're always doing something. Yeah. It's either you're learning from other coaches, it's either you're cleaning the facilities, you're restocking something, you're just doing stuff on your own in your personal life, such as studying for your CSCS or any other exams that you probably have to take. And that's why I say it's a grind, because you're up super early, home super late, and throughout that day you're constantly on your feet trying to do something, trying to make yourself better in that profession by asking questions, and your brain's just functioning and going while your body's just always going as well. And what's tough about that is trying to get in those meals throughout the day. You're super busy, and you got to figure out ways to eat. Like when you're in internship, when I was an intern, I didn't get paid for my intern because it was more of a volunteer thing. I was volunteering my time. And I mean, in the strength and conditioning world, people say, that just comes with the job. And I guess it does. But hopefully when I become a head strength and conditioning coach at a big time facility or a college, I would like to be able to compensate my interns. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be compensated because of the way the program was set up, or there wasn't enough funds. But hey, but I definitely will say it's a grind. It's definitely a grind.